What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? So I had plans on having a barbecue for my buddies and stuff like that, and the problem is unable to do it because, well, this stupid COVID-19, and everybody's afraid that they're going to end up getting cooties and whatnot. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and still have a barbecue. I'll just make some of the stuff and then just have people come over, stop by with their masks and rubber gloves and their snorkels, and just pick it up and take it home, so that way we can still have a barbecue, but we're just not hanging out, right? So first thing is first, I'm going to be doing some smoking, and I've got mesquite here because I decided that the type of barbecue I'm going to be doing is going to be somewhat of a southwestern one, okay? And mesquite is good for that. I was also lucky enough to go down to the store, and they have these small whole chickens, and we are going to be smoking a whole chicken, and I was able to get one for every person, right? So that's good news. You can say I ate a whole chicken, and these are great because they're a little bit bigger than a Cornish hen, but not so big that you're saying you ate a whole chicken. What we want to do is we want to remove any feathers or anything that still remain on the chicken, and we have to see if they actually left any insides. There are no insides. Either that or this chicken right here had a very, very rough life because it had no organs, okay? But I want to go through and I want to make sure that this is completely cleaned up. If there's any loose skin, kind of like right here near the butt, clean it up. Also, I want to make sure that there's no remaining organ parts on the inside here. It isn't really necessary to rinse your chicken. There's a lot of people that believe that, but it's completely false. And I have a video I'm going to put right up here. Watch that, and I explain why you don't need to clean your chickens or any of the meat you get from the store. In fact, it's a really bad idea. There's some times that you have to do it, but something like this, don't worry about it. You're fine. This is what I want to do is I want to take my hand, and where the skin is, I want to kind of get my finger inside here, and I want to get up and under the skin here. Okay, this is one of the spots that I'm going to end up putting some of the seasoning that we're going to end up creating. So that right there is good enough for that. So I've got an onion here, and this is going to be something that I'm going to end up placing inside 3 of the birds. So I'm going to cut this into 3s or thirds. So all of those go inside there. We've got some garlic here. I'm just going to end up putting a clove in each one. So now what we have to do is we have to make some kind of rub to go inside this. And generally when I'm doing like a barbecue rub, like a dry rub, I'll end up using things like garlic, a lot of garlic, right? Onion powder, paprika, maybe a little chili powder, maybe a little bit of cumin, and you end up using something like brown sugar, things like that, okay? Because I'm gonna do this a little bit more southwestern, I'm gonna end up kind of changing that just a little bit by adding, and this is going to sound weird, Cajun seasoning, which has a really strong garlic and paprika to it. And I'll just end up using something like this. I'm going to add this, plus a few other things, and you'll see. So we got our Cajun seasoning here. And this has to go on 3 birds, so I'm making sure I add plenty. We're going to add our paprika to this. That's about right. This is a little bit of granulated onion. We're going to put some of that right there. We already have enough onion, I think, but we're adding a little bit more right there. Black pepper. A little bit of salt. A little bit of cumin. This is chili powder, but this is a chili powder that does not have any thing else in it except for just ground chili. This is some brown sugar. And I'm trying to do about even amounts. So like, half sugar, half spice. Now some people will put things like ground mustard in this, which you can. It's not a big deal. Take some of this. We want to sprinkle it on the inside of the cavity here and rub it in. And we want to make sure that we get it on the inside of the cavity here. Make sure we get that rubbed in there pretty good. Okay, a little extra is not going to hurt. And we also need to make sure that we end up putting some of this through the backside where the thighs are that we had opened up. And then we're going to put a whole bunch on the outside of the bird a little bit later. So now that I've got this, I'm smoking this, so I'm not going to put any oil on it. what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go put this out in the smoker. Okay, so now we're gonna take our mesquite. We might have to do this twice, okay? So we might have an initial smoke and then maybe, I don't know, an hour later, put some more in. It just depends. But I think we might be okay with just one smoke here. Let's see if I can put a little bit more. That's gonna work. This goes in. Also, smokers generally will end up having some type of water that stays in there to keep things moist. We got to put that in. And we want to keep an eye on this. We want to get this to about 220 degrees, and which is right about there. And as soon as it gets up to that point, we need to make sure that we monitor the fire for a good 20-30 minutes, make sure it doesn't go too hot or go too cold. And then as soon as it's at that point, it's going to be a while, guys. It's going to take a while before this has been smoked really, really well and it's been cooked all the way through. And you do want to use a thermometer to make sure that it reaches a point where you don't have to worry about anybody getting any foodborne illnesses. But we can leave this alone, and then maybe, in a couple of hours, we can take a look at it and see how we're doing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to end up putting our wet barbecue sauce on here, and you can use whatever kind that you want. I mean, like your favorite kind. You can make your own. It doesn't make a difference really. But what I want to do is I want to put a layer of this on here and allow it to kind of dehydrate so it locks into that skin. All right, so this is what we got going on. I had turned them over. I had put some barbecue sauce on them. These guys, the internal temperature is exactly where I need it, and the wind is closing my door. But it's time for me to take these guys out. We're ready to roll. Ooh, these are hot. And this is one of those things I wish that people could be here live, you know, to try this and have it, to smell it, to enjoy it. But the problem is, right now everybody's doing their whole social distancing thing, you know, 6 foot. Well, I guess unless you're like 8 foot tall and the person is very, very short, because then just a simple geometry, you can be closer. Well, let's face it, if somebody's really short, if they cough or sneeze, it's going to be on your shorts. But anyway, try this. It's amazing. It smells great inside here, and it's so simple. If you don't have a smoker, I'm telling you, you really like meat, you know, you really like doing barbecue, just dive in, get the smoker. You're not gonna be disappointed. You're gonna be so happy that you got it. It turns regular meat into Kryptonian meat, super meat. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, all of the good stuff. Check out my other videos. I've got my macaroni and cheese video. I got my Hasselback potatoes, not to be confused with Hasselhoff potatoes, which are drunk potatoes that drive that car called Kit. But anyway, until next time, talk to you later.